Okay, good evening. So today we will see how to build REST APIs. We have still now we have used APIs, multiple APIs before, but for the first time we will be building our own API. So let's see how we will be doing. So actually we have learned how to use APIs in the previous sections, maybe very long back. So it's like, for example, we have used ISS location, Twilio API to send this thing messages and to get quiz questions from trivia API we have used. So but every time what it is doing whenever we hit the REST API endpoint, for example, if I just go to this, this one, when ISS API, this is, so I just use this. So generally it is like we are returning this ISS position, latitude, longitude, and whenever we hit this, because it's a server, so whenever we hit this API and we are getting this kind of message. So how we will be building this kind of data and why we should build this kind of data. For example, as of now that's a free API, but there are few charging APIs where they charge per API call, or from per month there is access of 99 to $99 also. So for example, if we have the same data for at our end, for example, if we collect particular caves in our city and figured out which is suitable for work, where it is a laptop friendly cave, and we can provide the data via API to other users. So whenever they call our API, we can charge them. So but how we will be doing that kind of API thing? Let's see. So we will be using Flask again. So using Flask only we will be building that API. So before that, what exactly REST? REST stands for, it's a representational state transfer. So it's like uh, so just it's actual architectural style. So generally it's like how we are sending data from client to server, and how we are sending data and how we are receiving data. So that's a protocol. It's like architecture style, we can say REST. So there are other styles like GraphQL, uh, SOAP, and different things. So now what exactly it is? So it's architecture style rather than set of guidelines and constraints for designing a software. So So it's mainly to create a uniform way for different systems to move over the internet. So when a maximum of the website uses this REST architecture only for any APIs development, so that it is easy for anything to communicate from one website to other or from one server to other. So that's, so here again the same thing is stateless. So the server doesn't store which client we are hitting. So it's just if we send some request from any browser, it will fetch the server and it comes back. So our server don't store any data from which web browser on which client we are hitting the API. So generally APIs typically use verbs like get, post, put, and delete. There is a new called patch also, that also we will look going forward. And these are uniform resource identifiers to communicate. It's like we can find URI for resource for server URI. So now we will be starting with this Filescape API starting files. So by default, let me show you what exactly they will be having. Uh, so generally there won't be any virtual environment folder. This is created whenever I open the folder in PyCharm. and instance is there, and templates and requirements is already there. So in instance, if you see, there is a KF's DB is already there. But whenever I open a main.py file, all these are already written, like for example class base. So this is to connect, so everything already we have, yesterday we have seen how to connect to database. So yesterday what we did, we created our books database, but here already the data is there, just we are connecting to database. And we are actually, there is everything defined. This is also not there. Let me just bring this out. uh, so only this one, only this, and finally this one. So so this is the main file where we have only a connection string and Flask cafe class defined, the table defined, where it have all the columns, you can say. So I have just opened that KFDB column, so we can actually go through that. What exactly is that? ID, name, maps, URL, image URL, location, has sockets. It's like Boolean, has toilet, has Wi-Fi, can take calls. How many seats? What is the price? So if I just go back here, see, it's like Boolean, has Wi-Fi, sockets, can take calls. These all are Booleans. And this is again a string. Now if I just go back to our thing, so just we have taken a look at the project, and we can find case.db inside instance folder. The same way we created books.db, we can create a similar kind of stuff. We can again by creating object like a cave object using that, and we can pass all the required parameters. So these are some of the databases. So we are using database, and we have viewed all the fields. So it's good to just check what are the fields are there. So now let's go. So for example, if we have a random cave, so someone want to select randomly any one of that cave. So what we can do, we can actually create random route, and that allows to get requests. So first of all, we will be creating a route. So I'm going here, and first of all there is a, now we are just create a route. So now just if you see here, we are actually created a route random, and we are given method equal to get. So to get method, so as of now we are just fetching the data, so that's why we are given method. But even by default, if we don't give this method also, by default every routing will have get method by default. So we don't need to explicitly mention, but if it is a post, then we need to explicitly mention it. So as of now we are not getting any, just we have mentioned random. So now if I just run this file, now just we are returning home page, but if I just click random, so did not return a valid person, because we haven't written anything. So we haven't ended with any return statement also. So now the next part is like we need to get some random key from our database. So what we can do is we can actually call connect and execute get function. So already we have did that, and then we are storing that into this. So just I'm now I am just opening this. Now it's like app.random. Now we are just defining get random key. So here we are executing the query that select key. So it's like select star from key. So it will return all the data whatever it is available, and we are storing it in list like all caves list. And we are if you remember, so we have imported random, and random we have called choice. So as of now, if I just again do the same thing, we still get error only. So if I just so because we haven't ended with return statement still now. Now if I just go back, so we are generally rendering template, but now it is we need to use a JSON return data using JSON format. So this is the example as a now we already seen this ISS where we are getting data in JSON format. So into JSON object. So how we can do is we can in Flask we have a called method JSONify. So even if I just go if I just go back here, I think I have opened JSONify. So yeah, for Flask, so how we are actually returning JSONify, and we have to give all the elements what are required in that table. So we have to, as of now, what we'll be doing, we will be writing all the data. So so now we are returning JSON file, and we are returning a kf object. So now from kf, so this is like this one. So all the columns we are returning like because we got hold of one row. So now from that row we are returning all the data in the JSON format. So kf.id, kf.name, kf.map URL. So whatever in available in this, we are returning all. So now if I go back again and do the random, now if you see here the kf, and in the kf you can see all the data it is coming like id. So it's like a random, right? So it's just so depending automatically it sorted. I think that's why it is C comes first. So if I just refresh it again, so now the ID got changed to 12. Like it is randomly changing. So So this is our first API call. So whenever we want, we just getting some random data. So localhost netting, but the same 1270, that's our localhost. Even if I just try to do localhost also, I think I should get the same result. Yeah, now it is that because we are running it from local only, so that's why just we are using localhost. So now this JSON5 method has maximum flexibility. We can actually group some of the data and we can emit whatever the data we don't want to expose. For example, ID is not needed at all, and now we are exposing. So that's actually our primary key. So generally we don't expose that. So for we can actually group also, but before that, what there is one thing I just want to show is, so instead of using random dot choice, this is Python way. We have actually this Flask way. So SQL alchemy you can say. So here we are selecting KF and order by. We are actually selecting SQL function random, and we are just selecting a scalar. So it's like it will be one. So we are limiting to one only. So only one record. But again, if I just here, but when import from SQL alchemy, we need to import function. So let's see how it will be working or not. So this is one way I have seen. Yeah, it is working fine. So it's most of directly in the query itself we are getting a random element. So it is more fast whenever we compare. So generally, so we have that. So this one, for example, if it is simple random, it took 90 seconds. But whenever we took optimized random, it took 19 seconds. General order by random, it took 23 seconds. As of now, we have used order by random dot limit dot scalar function. So this is another way we can get the random cave. So now just we are commenting this out again. So now if I want to group by, yeah. So here just for our reference purpose, we are just omitting. We are not giving ID here. We are just mentioning if you see cave, and in that cave we are actually segregating some properties into like all the name, map, URL, image, location into one category, and then amenities into another category. So now if I just go back and refresh my API, so now it's like if kf amenities all, and we have all the name, location, image, URL. So as of now we are not exposing our primary key ID, so it will be depends. but still again instead of we writing everything here, so just go back. So but that's what, again if you want to write everything here it take lot of, for example this is just having maybe 10, but if what if we have like 100 or some 150 kind of columns, and every time we can't write this column names, and again we uh, for returning our data, right? Anyways, this already data is available here whenever we define the table configuration. So here what we can do is we can do in two ways. So we can actually define a dictionary. So now I have defined a dictionary and I am getting hold of the table data. So what I am doing, I am converting a dictionary, empty dictionary for all the columns in the table dot columns. I am getting a dictionary key, and its get attribute is nothing but the value of that column name. So for example, ID is having ID, it will get all the data and we are written dictionary. Either this suffice, or we can actually comment this out. So, and if I just uncomment this, there's two methods. So it's like we are using directly dictionary comprehension. So even if I just a column name here, just we are, if you see it is a dictionary format. So in returning all the dictionaries, so all the column key columns and its values we are returning for all the columns in self.table. So this is nothing but again just the loop what we have run here. This is we have written in single line. So just directly we are getting column name and get attribute for column in self.table.columns. So now the same thing, now whenever we define a random, it's very easy now. Just we don't need anything, we just return that random cave what we call, and we are calling the method what we define to method. So it's like we are converting dictionary which is JSON file. So just we are serializing our database object to JSON by converting it in dictionary actually. Then we are passing that dictionary. Now if I just go back and if I just click, it should again work. So now it's we haven't grouped, it is coming all the data, like because we haven't did any modifications, we are just taking the class object parameters, and 15, 12, 13, 20, now it is 9. So this is one way. Even if I just comment this dictionary comprehension uses the above also, that next method also will work. It's perfectly fine. It won't. So just we have to reduce the number of lines of code. We are using dictionary comprehension. So now if I just go back again, if I hit it, it is working perfectly fine. the method 1 or 2, both are working perfectly fine. So there is nothing. So now this is about if you want any random cave. Now if I just want next thing, if you want to display all the data in the database whatever available. So for example, we have already seen that. For example, this is laptop in London, where we have multiple workplaces displayed. But if you want to display the same data in backend, uh, where we have to call all the APIs. So now we have to create another route called all, and then whenever we should return all the this one. So it's just how the data looks like. So where it is somewhere. Let me just. For example, we will be getting all the data, whatever the data available in the database, nearly 21 rows available. So we will be getting all the our data. So how we will be getting whenever we click on all. So now we will be going back. So we are defining one route called another route called all, and we are defining at all caves, and then we are executing query and we are ordering by cave name. We can do whatever we can do by order by ID also. ID will give 1 2 3 4. So all caves. So it's like we are getting this, both are same. Just if you see here, up to here there is nothing difference. So but here we are actually what we are doing, we are using a list comprehension. Before we have used a dictionary comprehension, right? So now it can be written in 3 lines also, as like above, like for kf and kf, we can some kf equal to kf dot dict to dict, and then we can return JSON file kf. So either we can write like that, or we can actually directly we can define like this also. So now if I just go back and if I just do all, so it's name by name AS hotel, like because it's alphabetically sorted. Now if I just go back to our Python and if I change order by ID, and if I just go back here and if I just, so now we get everything by ID, ID1, ID2, ID3, ID4, ID5. So we get all 21 IDs. Now the next part is like finding particular cave. Now we need to create a search route, and then we have to actually find a particular location if that cave is visible or not. So again, we will be doing the same thing. We will be creating a search route, and we will be querying the data. So before that, just I am uncommenting this. So just for example, just let us know that this is route we have created, and we have created this, and we have put some pass statement. Now if I just go back here, so now and pass a location as a parameter, LOC log. So we need to get hold of that location when our user passed in the URL parameters in the past URL with an with a question mark. So for example, if you see here after question mark there should be a lock. So we need to get hold of this data. So how we will be getting hold of that data? Yesterday we have seen that the same thing whenever we are passing book ID, we got the hold of the data using request.args dot get method. So we are getting this parameter value from the URL itself. So where we have this. So if we just go back again. So generally, so if there it is some location not where we need to display this error. But there is a hint also given. So if I just open this hint, not sure I can open here. This one. Yeah. In the SQL from Alchemy import select, where we can use this user table is equal to something like this. Close this and go back. So now what we are getting, we need to get hold of this record where they have provided the location. So now it's like select a cave where cave.location is equal to query location. So when our users pass the location, we need to get the data, and from that data again we are returning scalars.all because one location can have multiple things. So that's why if all caves, so it's like uh, if this syntax is nothing but if all caves is not empty, then we are returning JSON file. Again we are using list comprehension here, all the caves what are available in it. So if I just go back to here, if you see in Peckham we have multiple, nearly 3 caves are available. So now just go back, else we are returning JSON file and we are returning an error, this thing error statement. So now I just go back here, search, and then question mark, location, how they have given, let me just check. Okay, they haven't given in quotes. No, so don't give in quotes. Now if I see, it's like it is returning 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, even 18 also it's Peckham only. So what are returning? So for example, if I just give India, so we are getting not found, so we don't have this location. Some data, because in our database it is not having any data. So yeah, so that's it for today. So it's like so as of now today we have worked on our Flask. It's like API only. So now tomorrow we will be seeing using this API, how to test this API using Postman, and again what is put and what is patch going forward using for this cave API. So, yeah, that's it for today. Thank you.